Hey loves, I'm MissRessaT. Welcome to my channel. Here you will find plus size related content along with lifestyle, travel, and entrepreneur videos. So welcome to my channel. It's your first time here. Hey. Go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome back to all my old loves. I thank y'all so much for sticking with the chick. I know y'all happy to see me in this format. I have been doing a lot of TikToking. That has been my spot, and I appreciate you guys who follow me not just on TikTok but all my other social medias and that actually follow all of my niches, because I am a bunch of things and I appreciate that. And everybody else, thank you for all that was subscribed today. Moving on, I want this video to not be long. It's actually my second time recording because the first one was getting so long. I was like, no ma'am, I'm trying to get to the nitty gritty of this. I'm trying to do better at putting y'all videos that you requested, actually doing them soon you request them, because I tend to forget. I don't write them down. I apologize. If there's any videos that you want me to do, please put them in the comments. If you've already said it before, say it again. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to do better. So I literally got this request the other day. I posted my New Orleans travel vlog, and thank you guys so much for you guys watching that and supporting that. I appreciate it. So I posted that, and that was a girls trip of 8, and I got questions like, how do you plan a girls trip, a group trip, itinerary costs, and all those good things. So I'm going to try to do that for you in this video. I'm going to try not to be too long, but there's a lot of information, you guys. Travel is actually absolutely a luxury to me. It is something that I love to do. I absolutely love finding new parts of finding new places to go, exploring new things, and there's so much more I want to do in travel. Now lately my travel has been a lot of partying and fun, but I want to go see museums, and I like architect and all this stuff and learning about history. So those are the things I'm more looking forward to in my future travels. I do have travels coming up, so there will be another travel vlog soon. If you want just regular everyday vlogs from your girl, then those are on TikTok. I'm sorry, they're on TikTok. I try to post them here. I don't remember. So let's get into this video, okay? You're trying to plan a group trip. If you already have like a theme, like say if it's your birthday trip or anniversary trip or something like that, something that has a set date, then you can work with that. You can take that date and put it into Google if you like. Say you don't know exactly where you want to go, you can put in those dates and say where's the cheapest to fly in those dates, and Google will give you a world map, not just in the States, and you can see where's the cheapest place that I can travel during those dates. That's a good way to book a trip on your own. Myself, I'm a travel planner girl, okay? I will do some research and stuff myself, but travel planner me please, okay? So I would say find you a travel agent. That is easier said than done. There's a lot of travel agents out here. Everyone is not built the same, I must say. I have been spoiled with a great travel planner that has planned like 3 or 4 trips for me and my family and friends. Maybe even more than that, probably if you count my family members using them also. Like we're talking about, they planned like 5, 6, 7 trips for it. This guy was awesome and great, and rest in peace to him. Truly miss him and his talents and his passion for what he does. Like I said, not all agents are built the same. Overall, what a travel agent is supposed to do for you is manage your trip in regards to booking your flights and hotel for you. They don't always have to book both of them, but that's me. Book everything. But I usually get the flight and hotel together, unless it's I'm going to be traveling, something like that. They can facilitate for you your airline tickets, the seating. With having a travel planner, you have the opportunity to pay a deposit on the trip and then pay down a balance. I'm going to put an example on the screen of my most recent trip, which was the New Orleans trip. This is how it was, the travel planner that I used. This is how it was on she shared it. I'm sorry. So this is the latest travel planner that I have been using for my last 2 trips. She did my Cozumel trip. I used her for my Cozumel trip, and I also used this person for my for the Essex trip. One thing I do like about the way she puts out her travel things is actually having this all listed out. I'm one of those people that I can't necessarily say, unless I say it's a birthday or something, I don't like to choose dates. I mean, I know where I want to go. I know places that I do want to travel, and I will officially travel those out, but it's cool. I like being able to scroll and like, oh, a trip to Barcelona on these and these dates, and da da da. I'm going to Barcelona, by the way. I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere. But yeah, I prefer travel agents that do this. It's just what I prefer. So you have everything laid out. I like to have a majority of stuff laid out for me so I can already see what I'm getting to. I know what the deposit's going to be. I know what the final balance is going to be. I know when the final balance is going to be due. I know if it's flight and hotel included. If it's going to be a round trip. If it's going to have layovers. Speaking about layovers, I'm too old for layovers, y'all. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I like how this is all planned out. Some things that I would like more details on is the room and things like that. I did not do a room tour on the Essex trip, and that was personally just because the room, in my opinion, was a little small for 4 people, but it was a beautiful room indeed. And when you're trying to book events as big as Essence or Mardi Gras or things like that, you definitely have to be on it quickly. We did book about a year in advance. Some things I have learned in working with new agents, because I have learned that not all agents are built the same, and that's not no tea or no shade. That I may have to ask more questions and inquire more about what I'm getting into, what you're quoting, because what they're quoting is just exactly what they're listing on here. You can always be like, hey, I want a suite, or I need 2 bedrooms, or blah 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 blah. Can you go ahead and put that in the quote? That's the beauty of a travel agent. They can go ahead and redo the quote to add those things in. So note that this may not be your final price. So once you get your destination, then you get into getting with your people. Now, who you travel with is very important, you guys. It is very important. Oh Lord, it is very important. You definitely want people, number one, who like to travel or just have a desire. Maybe, and you may be a beginner travel, so you don't know. Just have a desire to do different things, to just step out places. Like, once again, a whole other video, but there's just certain things that I'm not gonna do when I travel that I do at home. So I kind of know those people that I'm already rocking with. Like, you don't even mention it. We're not going to McDonald's when we travel, okay? Like, it has to be a scream emergency if we go somewhere that we can go locally. Different things like that. I tend to go with people that I already know like to travel. I do try to extend the invitation to everybody. I try my very best, because there are tons of people that I would love to travel with in my family and friends. It just never have worked out that way. My schedule's a little more freer because I'm an entrepreneur. And then also, once you don't respond back, I really don't follow back up with people like that, because it's either you kind of know if you want to go or if you don't. Like, that may come off kind of rude, but you make time for what you want to make time for. You make money for what you want to make money for. Travel is absolute luxury for me. I treat it as a luxury item, so it's kind of like a self-care thing for me. It's all, like I said, it's a luxury. It's also a luxury for me. So I take time out to travel. I will make sure I can accommodate the dates that are there, and try to make sure I can accommodate the funds too. But I completely understand everybody cannot do that. So again, that's no tea, no shade. So once I extend it to maybe a broad spectrum of people, I look at responses, see how that goes, and then we make our way to the infamous group chat. Okay. Personally, the group chat does not get created for me, not the official one that's on Facebook Messenger. That's usually how we do our group chat, because Messenger, you can get on it. You don't have to be on Facebook. My besties are not even on Facebook, but they have Messenger, and that works out for everybody, because most people have Messenger whether they're on Facebook or not. Before you get the official group chat where you put the name of it, y'all, I was able to find the cost and stuff for all my old trips, because literally the title is all these trips. So I did them for about 4 trips, so we'll get to cost later on. Those are the only people who make that group chat, are the people who make deposits, who have made their deposit. And usually how that works is like, if I share this trip and I say, hey, who's down to go, I share it publicly. They say me, then we'll put it out like, I can have the money by Friday for the deposit, or I need 2 weeks to have the money. That's fine. Okay, everybody, let's pay our deposit in 2 weeks, or I pay yours, you pay me back. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your relationship with people. Once that gets established, so that can be just general individual text message. I'm not trying to add everybody in a group chat until this air is getting cold. Whew. Y'all probably can hear me better now. I'm not personally, I don't like taking people out of the group chat. Okay, so the official group chat don't need to be nothing but the people who have paid their deposits. That's just my personal opinion. I just rather add more people in than take them out, because that has happened. The last trip, like I said, the last trip was New Orleans. That trip was originally just 4 of us, and then eventually the 4 other girls decided they wanted to go, and all we had to do was add them into the group chat. As far as who you travel with, I mean, that's up to your personal preference. I will say I definitely want to plan in the future a plus size travel trip with some big girls, because I need some big girls. Okay, I need somebody to understand that I'm not gonna walk 20 minutes in 99-degree weather. Like, holla at me. But that's something I absolutely do want to plan. I'm gonna get this community that I'm trying to build here eventually one day, and it doesn't just have to be big girls, you guys. I would love to. I have traveled with a subscriber before. That's a vlog on here. My first trip to Cozumel for my 30th birthday, that was actually with a subscriber. Never met her before. It turned out great. It's all about personalities. It's all about, you're gonna have to compromise, and it's all about communication. Okay, so community, the things you should be discussing in the group chat. It is not for play. It's not for me showing outfits and all that. You could do all that later on. What you need to be discussing in the group chat is costs, making sure people are on top of what they owe, and as far as how travel, as far as you have your flight book, how are we getting to the airport, who's driving, are we getting a rental, things like that. So the example that I gave y'all earlier, the whole breakdown of the cost of the trip, that is not going to be your final cost. You're going to have your own expenses for the trip, and some additional costs, things that you're going to need to talk about are parking. That's airport parking. If you have to drive to the airport, you're gonna have to leave your car there. The average, I think we paid no more than $10 a day at I know at Charlotte Airport, and I don't remember Atlanta, but they're usually about $10 a day. So you can go ahead and know that in advance. You actually can go ahead and pay that in advance. As much things you can pay in advance, I suggest, so you can get those worries out the freaking way. Before with parking, I forgot to mention adding trip insurance. I absolutely am an advocate for trip insurance. I do understand it is additional cost, but baby, get the trip insurance. It ensures if something happens that you cannot go on the trip. If you get sick, they even cover bags sometimes. Like if things get lost, you just have to read it and see what the travel insurance come with. I do highly recommend it. I praise God. Nobody I've known had to use it yet, but it's just a good thing to have, because this is not cheap. You're spending hundreds of dollars and sometimes thousands. My last 2 trips have been thousands of dollars. Well, not thousands. But anyways, I definitely suggest getting the travel insurance. Some other additional costs that you're going to have to factor in are if you're going to check a bag. Now, I fly majority with American Airlines lately. I love Delta, but baby, Delta high. So American Airlines have been my go-to for my last probably about 4 trips. So I guess they're kind of my people now. Their check bag is $35. If you can find this stuff all out in advance. You can you pay that in advance? I don't know. You can pay that at the kiosk though. But you already know the cost of that to check a bag. Things like knowing if you're going to have to rent a car. If once you get there, our trip, I think Cali and Puerto Rico, we did rent cars. It just from doing research, that is something we did do our own research on, is what would be the best way. Puerto Rico, everything was very far apart. It just wouldn't have been smart to try to Uber and all those things. It was just best to get a vehicle. Cali was kind of the same thing. We did a lot in Cali and went all up and around Cali, and things are very far away. But we also did utilize things like public transportation, the Go City Pass. That's something that I've discovered that Cali it had, and we also did it in New Orleans, using their public transportation, which came in very nicely, and some of them came with really great deals. Groupon is also going to be your friend. You can go ahead and just change the city on Groupon to where you're going and see what's coming up. You could get discounts on things like your Go City Pass. Cali, we had a great one. It was like, gosh, what was it? It was maybe like Oh, we could do it like 8. We had 8 passes or something. Like it was a really great deal. And the girls looked it up and we found that, and that was very nice. In New Orleans, we also did a Gold City pass with the shuttle and the bus. It was very cheap. It was very cheap. So those are things you need to consider. Hotel parking, if you have a rental, parking, the rental at the hotel will also come up in cost. Let's see. I have notes. I have notes. So let's learn. I think we could just end this video more so talking about cost for things. As far as a budget, I can't say that I have a actual budget for the overall trip. Like I said, if you present me with a trip, I look at it. I will say, you can do some of your own research and be like, hey, can I get a better price if I do this and this and this? If you want to, I'm generally the type of person, if this is what you say your price is, that's your price. Just because that's my entrepreneurial mindset. Like, don't question my price, I won't question yours. But I have learned, like I will say, if we could have looked for something else in Essence. At the end of the day, the Essence trip, the room turned out to be better than others, so I'm not mad at that at all. But we would have preferred, we're just at the age that we are now. If I was still in my 20s, y'all, give me a bed, let me share it with somebody. We want the cheapest route. But I am in my 30s. Okay, I'm here also for my mental health and self-care. It wasn't any problems on the trip, don't get me wrong, but we're just older. We like to have our own space. We like to spread out. It worked out great. Everything worked out good, but that's just something that we should have asked more questions or look into. Because I just said, if you're working with the agent, they can definitely change the quote up and find different things for you. By the time we realized we were all 4 in 1 bedroom, it was too late. Everything was booked. Okay, everything was booked. So overall budget for the whole trip, I really don't have one. I go by, what they say. And if I feel like it's too high, then that's when I hit up the bestie Kayla, and she goes into the hunt and search and see what the average cost is, because travel agents do add in their own fee. They do have a fee for using their service. So some of them may be charging a really high fee because it's not really clear. Unless you ask them for an itemized statement, you really don't know what they're charging on their end. And what's actually the trip, if you get what I'm saying. So things that I do budget for is paying off the trip. I do like to already know the final balance, what the whole balance is going to be from the get-go. Now, what's going to be posted usually does not include the trip insurance. Trip insurance is probably going to add on an average of, it depends on where you're going, but it can range from $35 to, I think the highest we've had so far is like $86. That's my average. Probably could be higher than that, how much additional will be added on for trip insurance. But once you add that trip insurance, that's usually the first thing that we add on. So right off the bat, we already know the final price, because soon we book the trip deposit. The next step is doing trip insurance. We've never had a problem. Everybody in my group sees the value of trip insurance. So travel insurance. So then after that, you have your final balance. Usually we try to plan our trips, I think I previously stated, at least a year in advance to give ourselves some time to pay them off. I am an entrepreneur, as I said previously, so my money is not consistent. So I absolutely do not really do last minute trips unless it's like an amazing deal. I just do not know how my money is going to flow on a consistent basis. So I try to give myself enough time to try to plan it out. When you have payment plans, you can pay as much as you want when you want to. So you can pay on it monthly. My last trip, I think I broke it down. So maybe I did like 3 payments. And just paid 3 large lump sums when I know I had it. And that's one thing so you can budget that how you budget it. That has to do with your budget. So things that, these are going to be my personal budget. Excursions. You're going to want to do things. Depends on, where you're going. Most places you're going to want to do some things, maybe a tour. Some things that I didn't do in New Orleans that I plan on doing next time I go back is like a food tour. Some more like historian tours. We did we were the tourists in Cali and got on the double-decker bus and did that. That was great. We got to see a lot of Cali that way, and it was a great price. I will say excursions, whether it's with a cruise, which I haven't discussed cruise on this, but this all can apply to a cruise. I think only thing different is cruise is it's cheaper. If you're trying to first time travel and you're not afraid to get on them waters, baby, get on them waters because it's a lot cheaper. But excursions, I recommend booking them in advance just to pay as much stuff you can out the way. Only time I don't recommend that, in my opinion, is for cruises. I will say I've done enough cruises, 3, 4, and I've seen them mark down prices drastically if like the excursion is not fully booked out, but that is not always the case. Sometimes it can be sold out. So you just got to play your cards on that. I personally would not book excursions in advance for a cruise unless it's something that I must do, but I'll leave that at discretion up to you. But I do like to pay everything I can out in advance or knowing what you're going to do. Eventbrite is your friend. Groupon is your friend. One thing we like to do in the group chat is say, hey, is there anything that you know you want to do? So when we were going to Cali, anything you guys know what you want to see, literally we all kind of said all the same things because it was a lot of our first time going to Cali. So the Santa Monica Pier, the stars, Hollywood stars, like the typical tour stuff. We all kind of had the same idea on that. So if there was something else like, hey, if we had time, like I would like to go to Universal Studios, blah, 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 blah. So we put everything out there and we had to decide what we want to do. Our last trip, we ended up dividing some things. Half of the group wanted to go on an airboat in the swamp. The other half didn't. So they went ahead and booked that. But it has to be communication, guys. Put it all out there. Say what you want to do. It may be somebody that wants to do it too. You don't know. Or if it's something that I've never done, I'm down for new things. You know, we're here for things. Shout out to my sister Courtney. Like on this New Orleans trip, she had the best suggestions. A lot of things that she suggested, the riverboat cruise and things like that, was absolutely fun. And other people who suggested things, like everybody put out what they wanted to do. We try to do at least one thing of everybody wanted to do. That's usually the general rule. Try to appease everybody in some of a fashion, but just know, like, you may wear yourself out. Like Cali, we did a lot. Yeah, we did so many events in like that weekend. It was crazy. We were dog tired. Everybody regretted it, like as far as how tired we were once we got back, because it took months for us to recover from that trip. Because we were literally like go, like 8 a.m. till 8 a.m. We were go for that trip. But we saw and did so much. Like we were all like, we ain't got to go back. No, we would go back to the hood. But all the touristy stuff, we already done that. Okay. So I recommend, as for me personally, I don't budget. My minimum budget for excursions is like $100. That is actually not a lot, you guys. These things are pretty, excursions and cruises and like riverboat cruise, dinner cruises or tours and stuff. This stuff starts at like they mostly start at like 30. A lot of them start at like $60 or higher. They are not cheap. Personally, things like ATV riding, I did do it in Puerto Rico. I loved it. It's never something I thought I would do, but I'm glad I paid for it. But that was like $100 and something. Like they're not cheap. Excursions are not cheap. Like I said, my minimum budget is $100 because generally I don't do a lot of excursions as far as like the ones that are higher up, like ATVs, horseback riding, skydiving and things like that. I'm not the adventurous person. I will hold the pocketbooks, that type of person. So my budget is, I don't put a lot into that budget because I know me, I'm really just here to eat. Okay. All right. That moves on to the food budget. So for me, my minimum food budget is, I'm trying to be nice. I put on paper 200, but like my minimum is like $500. Y'all don't understand how upset I was in New Orleans that I just could not. Whoo, Chad. It's been a year, okay? It's been a year and I ain't had my money like I wanted to. But yeah, I am not a person. I can't eat a lot, y'all, but I like to order a lot. I like to try different things. I love to. One thing I always put out there on when I plan trips is I like to have one bougie restaurant. That's just something I like to do. I like to go to an upscale restaurant, or at least some place where we get dressed up and go somewhere. That's always something I put out there. That's just something I like. So I'm willing to spend a lot of money on different food experiences and things like that. So my food budget is a little higher. You also have budget in souvenirs. I know personally myself, I always get a souvenir for my grandma and my dad. So I may have to make sure I calculate that in. I don't normally spend a lot on souvenirs. Personally, I don't like to carry home a lot of stuff. I'm already I pack pretty thoroughly, so I don't like to carry home like big purses and a whole bunch of things, bigger things for souvenirs. I'm more so of a shot glass and a magnet type of souvenir girl. But you never know what you want to carry back. So I do try to accommodate room for it, but most likely my souvenir budget is pretty low, and maybe at a minimum of $50. And I don't think I've ever spent like $50 on souvenirs. So I think that's it. I'm gonna end with giving you guys, since it was asked for me as far as cost. Of course, cost is going to vary, you guys. It's so much higher to travel now. Flights are so freaking high. I have not been doing much cruising because I'm just not willing to go to Florida. I want to be able to drive. I'm tired of going all the way to Florida. We do have a cruise in Charleston that's closer to me, so I'm going to be looking into that. But like I said, costs will vary with seasons, all of that stuff. Essence Festival was I think it's the highest. This New Orleans trip is the highest trip I've ever paid. If I'm not mistaken, it's the most I ever paid. I do kind of get it though, because it is like, it's a designated. It was my first trip to something that was actually a designated event. It was Essence Festival. So that is suspected because maybe it was packed out there. The people was there. Okay. So I can understand that. So I'll just give you some overall prices for New Orleans. I'm just going to quote for the 4 people that was under, in my group. Our overall cost, as far as, this is not including any of those additional costs that I mentioned. The parking, the check bags, resort fees. These hotels always charge something on a daily thing, like a daily rate. The resorts do it too. So that gratuity tips, now that stuff, this doesn't include any of those things. I will say try to have some cash for tips for these hardworking people, especially when you're on resorts, especially when you're in places like Mexico or Puerto Rico, where maybe an area that utilizes more low-income people there working, like the maids and stuff. One thing we've done for our last couple of trips is absolutely we leave things for the maids. Man, they done got some liquor, whole bottles. They done got shoes, and I mean, if you could leave pads and different things like that may help the community. We always give our food to the homeless. That's something we've done our past couple trips. So yeah, New Orleans for 4 people. The cost of just the flight and the hotel was $4,500. That's approximately about $175. $1,175 a piece. So I would say that has been the most expensive trip I've taken, I think, since I've traveled. This is not all the places that I've traveled, but the trip before that was to Cozumel, Mexico. That was a resort, an all-inclusive resort. I will be looking forward to more all-inclusive resorts once they have better food than that one. But I think those are great deals. Those and cruises are my focus now, because if you can get somewhere that already where the food and the drinks are included, like, you spend the most money on liquor and stuff. When you get somewhere where all that's included, bingo. That's why I highly recommend cruises for beginner travelers, or just budget travelers, or just traveling period, because once you pay the cost, like, you get on the cruise and have a ball, like, you really don't have to spend any additional money. You probably will. You may gamble and different things like that, or buy drinks, alcoholic drinks alcoholic, that's how you say, alcoholic drinks and stuff like that. But it's all really up to you. That's all the food and stuff is included. Drinks are included, less non-alcohol. You can buy beverage pack. Anyways, I'm getting out the thing. That one was $2,210. So that was about $1,105 a piece. That one, I will say, the resort was absolutely nice. We should have followed the research when it came to the food, but overall, I understand why that was higher because it was all inclusive. The trip before that was Puerto Rico. Oh, the New Orleans trip was split between 4 people. So yeah, you do with these numbers as you want. Mexico was just 2 of us. So that was 1 bedroom, really nice bedroom, about $1,000 a piece. We paid for that. Trip before that was Puerto Rico. That was also 4. That was 4 people. That may have been 5. The total for that trip was $4,300. That came up to about $875 a piece. That was a hell of a cost. When I look back at that, when I was writing this down, I was like, what? And that was 5 people. Yeah, that's 5 people. And y'all, we had the biggest room, the suite and stuff. But like I said, this also depends on the travel agent, what they're able to do. And that was the Puerto Rico and the Cali trip that I'm about to discuss next was with my favorite travel agent that unfortunately has left this world. But he absolutely, I think he understands that travel is a luxury. Like, go ahead and offer me, go ahead and find the best of the best, and then give me the offer. Like, but I have learned that it may be reversed. You may have to, you see the offer, you have to ask, like, what all comes with this, or you may need to upgrade, is what I'm saying. But so that was $875 a piece. Of course we spent more because on that trip we actually did excursions and stuff like that, but that was your baseline. Before that, Cali, that was 4 people. Cali was a total of $2,240. That was about $560 a piece. The prices that I'm quoting you, also this includes travel's insurance for us, okay? And then I went to go compare it to a cruise. So one of the last cruises I went to, it was like a 5-day cruise, y'all. 5 days. The total for 4 people was $1,750. So that was about $437 a piece. So you hear what I'm saying about the cruises? Okay. So definitely check this out. I hope this video was helpful, you guys. If you made it to the end, like, shout out to you. Give me a purple heart. Y'all know I love to see it. I hope this was helpful, and I will try to do like a shorter version of this on my other platforms just to put it out there. But if you have any questions, any other things that I didn't discuss, leave them down in the comments. If you also have any suggestions of your own, things that I may have missed on here that I couldn't think of that you will be helpful on planning a trip, please leave it down in the comments for everybody. You guys, I hope everyone gets to take a trip and take a girls trip. Like, I think you need at least one girls trip or a guys trip. It is fun. It is fun seeing different personalities together. It's fun seeing you compromise. It's also, you know, you get a little attitude, but I love how we can laugh through it and keep it moving. I love it. And it's just so much fun seeing the world with different people. But also, you know, if you want to travel by yourself, travel by yourself. But I think that's it, yeah, guys. I'm just talking now. I'm gonna head and wrap this video up. It's me, your girl, MissRessaT. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media networks. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and look out for my next travel vlog. Daily vlogs are on the tickety top and Instagram for pictures and beauty stuff. And really, I see a lot of jewelry coming soon. Coming soon to MissRessaT.com. Check out MissRessaT.com for closet sales and waist beads and jewelry and all that good stuff. I'm out, you guys. Smoochie.